Good morning, everyone. It's April the 21st, 2023. I'm going to talk to you today about something that we've been sort of briefly touching on about some of the good things that used to happen in the shelters. And I keep touching on a lot of the bad things. Well, I want to concentrate a little bit on some of the good things that are actually happening. Now, now some of the shelters have been named. 454 has been named for some of the things that have gone wrong. Because with 454, I've had people coming up to me since I've been doing the videos, have talked to me because they've been in the shelter system, they've been through the drop-in centers too, and they cannot understand how this has happened. And as Julie has said, with 454, there used to be karaoke in that. And now it's just everything is on drugs, unfortunately, that we're experiencing right now. So this is a good thing that I'm actually doing is with the videos. People are thrilled because it's actually spurring conversations with people. What have we done in the past that was good? What do we need to do to go maybe back a bit to the past? Because I know that my elders, when I was younger, said sometimes you have to take a step or two backwards before you can take that step or two for frontwards again. And it's a really good idea. So, we're looking at different ways. It's spurring conversations with people between the community, between the politicians, everything. That is good. Now, we've always been having conversations, but the problem is, speaking about it is one thing, but actually doing it is another thing. But today, I like to speak about some of the good things that are actually happening. Now, from what I understand through Julie and some of the others, there's still a couple of good drop-in centers here, but it's just for the women. And this is where I had to go in 2010 as well, after my marriage breakup at that time. So I was struggling. But what they did, and what is still being going on, is Julie came to me yesterday. She was so excited. Oh my goodness, I'm going on a trip with the girls. We just had bingo, and she's pulling out the shampoo and all the different little items that she actually won at bingo. Not money, but just stuff that makes you feel good. And this is what I remember. And Julie said, yes, it's nice to see that we still have a little bit of it. Now I don't want to go to 454, and I'm starting to direct some of the other women who are going there to get them back to these other shelters, or the other drop-in centers, I should say, for women. And it was really fun to watch Julie. Like, she was just bubbling over there with me yesterday, trying to tell me, oh yeah, it's only going to cost me $5, and we can sign up for a trip, and we're going to go on some kind of a river cruise. And I said, oh, that sounds like fun. Can I join you? I'd love to go on a river cruise too. And so she said, I bet you can. You were a former client of one of these. I bet I can get you in there. Because they also said bring a friend. So I said, wow, I might like to really go and enjoy this river cruise with you. Sounds like so much fun. And so she's all excited. And it's good to see her laughing and smiling and being herself again. The Julie that I knew back years ago as well. And she still tries to smile through things today. So this is one of the things that I wanted to talk to you about, was that this particular shelter, or drop-in center, they had some sort of counselors or some volunteers that helped me through some of my problems at that particular time, and that was back in 2010. And one of the things was I talked to one of the volunteers there, or workers there, and that particular time, I found out that because of the abuse that I had gone through for my husband, I could get victims' compensation through the province. Well, she helped me get in touch with the people I had to get in touch with. She helped me with the paperwork and that. And then when it actually came time to go for the actual interview with the people that actually, from the province, that gave you the money for victims' compensation, she was there with me. And I was able to speak. Actually, what I had done was some of the things that I had learned with between the community policing at that time and some of the stuff that was actually going on in Hittenburg, that victim impact statements were very effective. So I had written a victim impact statement And I know she was even shocked about some of the things that this worker was about, some of the things that came out. But it was a great help because, like I said, when I left the shelter, I moved in with my daughter. That was great for a while. I helped the expenses, but then I finally found myself stuck. And then I had to bring in another woman off the street, which unfortunately she was a secret alcoholic, hiding her booze and stuff. And then she invited her boyfriend in. And since I had put her on the lease, it was very difficult to get her out. So by this time I was told, going on being a senior, I could get senior housing and I could get on the list. And it sounded like I was going to get it right away. So to get this woman out of my place, I turned around and I said, well, you know, you don't want to get stuck with no place to go. You better start looking for a place. So I gave her a certain time that she had to be out. She waited till the very last minute. Then she had to scramble and the two of them had to throw their belongings in a taxi and take off. So I got her out. And then luckily, I just got my victim's compensation package came in. So it held me over until, as I said, it was 7 years till I finally got my divorce. But at the time, going through the court was great, having these workers there for support. And it took me 7 years to get the divorce. And the good thing about it was I ended up that I was able to get support, which helped me through until I actually got my old age stuff. So I was in a luckier position than some women, and I'm certainly not rich. And even today I'm struggling. Especially with the high food prices and the inflation today. We're all dealing with that right now. So, you know, money that would stretch through the month, you know, I'm looking for sometime the food bank, and thankfully something like the Mission. And I've used the Mission truck too, because we're all struggling. It's a horrible situation. So if we're struggling and we have some money, these homeless people have no money, basically, and they're struggling. But the other thing that I've been talking about is definitely, or not talked about, I should say, in this case, is we talk about so much about the women's abuse and what's out there for the women, but we don't actually talk about how the men are abused. This is almost, I don't know if it's taboo or what, but many of the men that actually abuse us have been abused themselves, whether it's by their mothers, a terrible family life. They go through many of the same things, but they take it out on us, and that's not right either. Or they get involved in the drug trafficking, and then, boy, they take it out on us. You know, they oh yeah, this is easy. Just go get that woman off the street and we'll go and pimp her or whatever. You know, and I'm seeing this constantly with what I'm dealing with right now. So with the people that I'm in contact with, like I said, there's lots of things being talked about under the radar right now that we're talking about behind the scenes that we're discussing now. I'm saying, well, with what I'm seeing with Julie, and there is a couple of really good examples of being drop-in centers being set up, you know, where they've got bingo, they've got karaoke, they keep them going, you know, because when you're out having to deal with paperwork and stuff in your life, I always found that it was so nice just to come back and have a little safe place to be for a little while. So this is what Julie's doing now. She's telling the girls to go there. But with all this discussion, I've turned around and I said to some of the people, well, why is it that the women have a drop-in center, but the men don't have a drop-in center where they can learn about abuse, where they can have a better time, and it's far better than drugs? And they're looking at me and they said, you know, that's maybe not a bad idea. But I also said it needs to be driven by men. It needs to be run by men themselves who are good peer and good mentors, like we have in the two particular drop-in centers that I'm talking about for the women. So this is a lot of things that are coming out. There's a lot in talks, not in the works, but in talks behind the scenes, and all these great ideas. But it always costs money, and it also comes down to political will. Now we know political will. That is one of the hardest things, to get affordable housing. You know, and then, of course, every so many years we have a new election, and then we have to go through the whole process all over again, which is a real pain, because you just get to know your counselors or whoever, and then they're switched. and then you've got to start from scratch again. And fortunately, I believe that our counselor here realizes the problem that we're having, so we don't have to fully start from scratch. But I just wanted to brief you in that there are some really, really good things that are actually happening out there besides the bad things. So that's what I wanted to concentrate on today, to let people know that there are some good things still going on. And as my ancestor said, sometimes you have to take 2 steps backwards before you can take 2 steps frontwards. And then the other thing that I've been told too growing up is, before you judge a person, walk in their shoes too. And another one that goes along right with that is, before you judge a book by its cover, make sure you read the book. So this is where we're at today. And so people are being judged, just like the book's being judged too here. And, it's not all the homeless people's fault, but we're falling in this drug trap that's really, really bad right now. That's why we're having the overdoses, the opioid crisis. If we can divert people into better programs and set up better things so people have a place to go, so they're not lying all over the grass, or they're not hurting people, they're not overdosing. Like, there's so many things that we can do as a community. And this is basically what I wanted to talk about today. So it's some of the good that's happening out there. So I will keep you posted. And I don't want to make the video too long again today. So you guys have an enjoyable day. It looks like it's nice out there today. So have a nice day, and we'll talk again soon. And bye-bye. Take care.